Hello, everybody of YouTube. It's Brian Redgrave here, the one and only. And it has been a long time since I've had a video on my channel. A month, 4 weeks. I've been very busy. I've had a lot of things going on. And I've been unable to be able to make any videos for you guys. But I was able to do this one. I'll be able to do one tomorrow. And which is fitting because tomorrow is Extreme Rules, or how it's called now, the horror show at Extreme Rules, because I guess we're celebrating Halloween early with horror. It seems a little stupid to me. This should have been something like for October, the horror show, but I want to give you my predictions of Extreme Rules. The very first match I want to talk about at the horror show at Extreme Rules is The New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, in which is going to be a tables match, which is good, stipulation. Hardcore extreme stipulation for a pay-per-view call. Extreme Rules are always good. These pay-per-views always suffer from barely having stipulation match despite the name of the pay-per-view. But here we have a tables match. I'm a fan of tables matches. I think they're good. Most of them tend to be good. And I predict and think Shinsuke and Cesaro will walk out of Extreme Rules with the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The New Days have a tendency of winning the titles. They usually don't have them long before they drop them and win them again at some point down the line. And I think it's the right time. Cesaro and Shinsuke got some momentum on their side. They've been able to build themselves as a tag team. They weren't doing much when they were with Sami. They were more like Sami's lackeys, but since Sami Zayn's been gone and they've been on their own, they've been for the better. They've been able to run better as a team. Cesaro is the team master at this point. Jack Swagger, Sheamus, Tyson Kidd. Now, Shinsuke, if he wins the titles with Shinsuke, he really will be the tag team master at this point. And as much as I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura one day win a world title, that's clearly not going to happen anytime soon, if ever, with WWE. And hopefully, winning the tag team titles will give them a good title, a good reign. They are a very good team at this point. The New Day are a good team, but they've been champions so many times at this point, and they're a constant in the business now. I think Shinsuke and Cesaro will walk out as champions, and that's also what I want to happen. What I think will happen and what I want to happen. Next up is Bayley versus Nikki Cross, with Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's title at the horror show at Extreme Rules. And I don't think there'll be any horror here because, for whatever reason, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes these matches should have stipulations and they don't. And like, if it were up to me, I would have every match have a stipulation in a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules. And this match has no stipulation. It's just a regular old wrestling match. And I think Bayley's going to win. I think everybody expects Bayley to win. Bayley and Sasha, but mostly Bayley, has been the best thing in SmackDown and maybe in the main roster. She's been killing it along with Sasha. Nikki is great. She is fantastic. I just don't see her winning the title from Bayley. I am not saying Nikki's never going to be champion. I would love for her to be champion at some point. I just don't think this is the right moment. With Bayley killing it and Sasha having her own match for a title, I think it wouldn't be the right time for Nikki to win. And if she fails, you continue the storyline of her, being on this losing streak. Maybe she even turns heel on Alexa Bliss. They have been teaming for a while, so I think and predict not only is Bayley going to win this match, but the fact that Nikki has lost the last 2 weeks in SmackDown and the loss here could result in a heel Nikki turning on Alexa Bliss, which I think would be a good move because they've been, a tag team for quite a while. And I think Nikki as a heel could run better if she's going to be a champion later on, instead of the more goofy sidekick that she's been doing for quite a while now. More like a maniac heel. I think that'd be a good fit for her. So this match should have had some type of stipulation, but it doesn't. I predict and want Bayley to retain. Next up is a match I probably don't give two about. It is Apollo Crews defending the United States Championship, the old version, I guess, because that is the title they're still showing in the promo, versus MVP, who's currently holding the new United States Championship. Even though he's not actually the United States Championship, I guess he's a little retarded because he's holding a title that is really not even his. Good job, MVP. And I really don't care about this match at all. I do like MVP. I do like Apollo Crews. I do like Bobby Lashley. I like every man involved. But the match itself, I don't expect nothing special. I don't really care. But I'm going to predict Apollo Crews retains. MVP's been running his mouth with a new title. You know, they've been destroying Cedric Alexander, Ricochet. I expect Apollo Crews to retain, even though it'd be hard for him to retain with Bobby out, but I'm going to predict that Apollo retains. Bobby will try to help MVP, and maybe Cedric Alexander and Ricochet will help Apollo retain. If not that, maybe as Cedric Alexander turns heel and turns on Apollo, and maybe MVP does win. But I'm going to go more with the Apollo retains side of things. And me personally, I would like MVP to actually win. So even though I predict Apollo winning, I would like MVP to actually be the champion. I do like the combo of MVP and Bobby. So I think that would be great with MVP having that title. And maybe Bobby being able to win a title himself. But if Apollo does win, maybe we'll see Bobby and MVP go for the Raw Tag Team titles, which I guess everybody forgot about. But yeah, let's just move on. Next up is Asuka versus Sasha Banks, the boss, the standard, the blueprint. I'm torn here because me personally, I would love for Sasha to win, even though I don't want Asuka to lose. I would love Sasha to win so she holds the Raw title with the tag team titles the same way Bayley holds into the SmackDown one and the tag team one. I'm going to say I think Asuka will retain. Something will happen that will lead to Asuka retaining. And I love Asuka. I really do. I'm happy she's champion. But a part of me would love for Sasha to be the Raw Women's Championship because Sasha and Bayley have been killing it in SmackDown, have been killing it whenever they show up. And to have them both as tag team champions and one as the Raw tag team champion and SmackDown tag team champion, world champion of the women's division. I don't think that's ever happened. I think it'd be great. And you know, they run the division and eventually break up eventually at some point, which obviously I think is the long run of the story. But yeah, just imagining Sasha having that title with Bayley having the SmackDown one and they both have the tag team. Yeah, I think that would be for the best. So I do predict that Asuka will retain somehow, but I do want Sasha to actually win, which is something I never thought I would say because I am a huge Asuka supporter. I love Asuka. I wanted her to be champion. I got her as champion, but I do think she will retain and probably feud with Nia Jax when she returns. Or if not, Shayna Baszler. Maybe Shayna will be the one to go after Asuka should she retain. But like I said, a part of me really wants Sasha to win. I predict Asuka, but want Sasha. Let's move on to the next match. Which brings us to Drew McIntyre versus my boy Jordan's best friend, Dolph Ziggler. And we don't actually know the stipulation of this match. You know, we have MVP's match, Bayley's match, Asuka's match with no stipulation. And here we're going to have a stipulation. We just don't know what it is, which is interesting because that's not really how you build hype, is it? Yes, it builds curiosity, but it doesn't build hype. Because for all we know, we could get a last man standing, we could get a tables match, a ladder match, whatever. Me personally and my friend think it'll be a ladder match or an Extreme Rules match. Because it is Extreme Rules pay-per-view and we don't have an Extreme Rules match. It'd be like having the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and not having Hell in a Cell. It just would seem odd. Now, I predict Drew McIntyre to win. No matter what the stipulation is, I expect Drew to win. Dolph can never win the big one anymore. He hasn't been world champion in like 7 years. Nothing against Dolph. I think the feud has been pretty good so far, pretty solid. I think he's an excellent wrestler. Promos, I think for the most part, Dolph could be the complete package as a world champion. I just don't see it happening based on past booking. And Drew McIntyre has been having a hell of a title run so far. So no matter what stipulation it is, I predict ladder or Extreme Rules, like I said. I fully expect Drew McIntyre to retain somehow, some way. I think Drew will. I think Drew will retain. That's also what I want. That is what I think will happen. That's also what I want to happen. Nothing against Dolph. Now, should Dolph win, it'd be a hell of a shocker, but I wouldn't necessarily be mad. Dolph as champion would be kind of cool. But yeah, that's what I think. Next up is the Wyatt Swamp Fight. First of all, why is it the Wyatt Swamp Fight and not just a swamp fight? Does Wyatt own the whole swamp there? Or what? Like, that was not explained to me. I know I've been told they're from the swamp, but I didn't know Wyatt owned the swamp. Oh, God. This match is not even for the Universal title, which that alone pretty much guarantees Bray is gonna win to keep 50-50 booking since Braun won a Money in the Bank. It's just the way to do it. The title's not on the line, expect Bray to win. Now the title were on the line, maybe it's a little hard to tell. So I fully expect Bray to win. I fully expect this to continue to SummerSlam now with the tiebreaker, which is interesting, right? Because Braun fought the teacher, Bray. Now he's fighting cult leader Bray. And I expect him to fight The Fiend at SummerSlam. I'm predicting that. So I predict and want Bray Wyatt to win in what will more than likely probably be a terrible match. I expect nothing special out of this match. It's going to be cinematic style. I am not a big fan of cinematic matches. And I just expect shenanigans happening here. Whether crocodiles, alligators, monsters, craziness. I expect it all here. Oh God, I'm not excited for this. The two of them had a pretty good match at Money in the Bank, but to have a cinematic style like this, I don't know what the hell is gonna happen here. Should be an entertaining watch in a not good way. So we'll see. But I fully expect Bray Wyatt to win. Without a doubt. Maybe it'll lead to a heel turn for Braun. Maybe. But we'll see. I expect Bray to win. That's also what I want. Next up is a match that makes me ashamed to be a fan of the Lee. Is Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in a eye for an eye match. The horror show. Where a match ends when the loser loses his eye. Let that sink in for a minute. The winner must pluck the eye out of the loser. Yeah, somebody's been watching too much See No Evil. Guys, you made a movie about that. We don't need to do a wrestling match about this. This is going to be probably the most ridiculous thing I've seen. If they truly go along with that rule, it'll probably be cinematic. I've read reports of CGI. Oh, God. This is just fucking... I don't even know what to say. I'm not excited for this at all. Maybe the match will be good, but if the whole match is cinematic, then oh no, please don't. Rey Mysterio has apparently been wrestling out of contract, more on a handshake deal. So if he has no interest to wrestle no more, I fully expect Rey to lose his eye and the match. And that'd be the way they write him out. I don't see Seth losing this match, to be honest. Even if Rey were to stick around, it's easier for Rey to cover his eye, which, guys, Rey or Seth, they're not really losing their eye. This is, fake. But it's easier to cover Rey since he has a mask to cover his eyes. You know how Sin Cara has a mask that, covered his eyes, stuff like that. Then Seth Rollins. So I predict Seth Rollins is going to win no matter what. I predict personally. That's also what I want, I guess. But I really don't care about this eye for an eye match. Yeah. So those were my predictions for the horror show at Extreme Rules, where the pay-per-view is called Extreme Rules, but what we really got is a swamp fight, which will be cinematic, an eye-for-eye match, which might end up being cinematic, or maybe not cinematic, but with just a CGI effect at the end. Like, what do we even know about an eye-for-eye match? We know it ends when somebody loses their eye. But is the match itself no DQ? Like, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. So I can't even really say that's gonna be extreme besides the supposed extreme ending. Yeah, Bayley's match is a normal match. Asuka's match is the normal match. MVP's match is a normal match. So what we really got here that's extreme is a tables match. We don't know Drew McIntyre and Dolph's stipulation. So yeah, Extreme Rules. You know, a table match. Great. I'm excited for Extreme Rules, guys. The horror show. A tables match. That's really it, huh? Everything else is either normal or cinematic. And, you know, like I said, I do enjoy tables matches, but they don't tend to be too extreme. So yeah, those were my predictions for the horror show Extreme Rules. And that's what I think. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Again, guys, I apologize for the fact that I hadn't made a video in over a month or whatever it's been. I've had a lot going on, but I hope you enjoy the video. Like the video, share the video. Please subscribe. This has been Redgrave. Redgrave, out.